lynx, and other animals at the large carnivore center. Pasianti and Sulo Karjalainen started off almost 20 years ago by adopting an orphaned bear cub, then another, then another.
When he puts his face by me, can I give him a little hello? Probably not a good idea. If it's not an automatic yes, we just don't do it. I guess these are wild animals.
Yes.
He's unpredictable and intimidating. About 800 pounds and 12 feet tall, standing up on his hind legs. Pasi and Sulu created this large carnivore center because they hated to see such majestic creatures fall prey to hunters. Visitors are not allowed inside the fence, but they've invited me inside for brunch. I'm hoping this guy knows that means I'm joining them for brunch, not as brunch.
There you go.
Okay.
He has a very wet tongue.
Yes.
He says he's angry you always give him frozen plums.
No.
He says, why can't he have more bacon? I'm a bear whisperer.
Yeah, this is Yuzo. He was born and raised here.
He wants to eat my shoes,
Yes.
which is totally okay with me as long as I'm not in them.
Yuzo just can't get enough of me.
I think I have a combination of smoked pork, fish, and fresh vegetables just exuding all over me.
But there are better things for these lucky bears to eat. Every day, the Ursine residents of this center enjoy a feast fit for royalty. I kid you not. It's bizarre foods for bears.
When you make the food to royalties, you must look that everything is
Very pretty, absolutely.
Pretty, and the colors must be right.
Built on a base of whole salmon heads split open, they slather on the honey, add strawberries and apples, and top it all off with plenty of whipped cream. With a side of porridge.
It's the new Nordic cuisine.
They take this royalty thing seriously.
3 is a very elegant number for food.
Three red colors and 3 green.
Nobody is doing bear cuisine. Cuisine for bears, not of bears.
He says Yuzo devours about 20 kilos of food a day. That's 44 pounds.
Come and get it. Yuzo, come here, buddy. Feet are okay. I don't want to see elbows on the table, though. They love the whipped cream.
Despite the levity, Sulo and Pasi are dead serious about caring for these animals who once roamed and ruled the forests here and deserve to be treated with dignity.
There you go, buddy.
Sometimes my heart is crying when I see what happened. We try to give information to people. Bears are not predators.
But they are huge, especially up close and personal.
Well, I'll tell you, this has been a very successful buffet breakfast. The clients have eaten everything. I think the chefs are happy with their presentation work.
And you gotta love a country where bears are fed like people and people eat like this.
Oh, terrible.
And grandmas still like a nice slice of seal that comes with a surprise.
Wonder what that is and where it came from.
Even though Finland is one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world, there are still many places here that are barely touched by the 21st or the 20th century. Like the tiny island of Hailuoto, population 1,003. It sits in the Gulf of Bothnia, 34 miles from the city of Oulu, Finland's northernmost port. In summer, you can take a ferry to Hailuoto. In winter, this part of the Gulf freezes, so you would have to drive across the ice. Very few venture to Hailuoto after the ferry season. But some people, like 76-year-old Ela Ranta Suomela, almost never leave this little island. 124 miles of old-fashioned rural life. Today, Ayla and her friends Raija Jola and Tula Fagerholm are treating me to a traditional island supper. Of course, it's got herring and salmon, and a globally controversial food that in Finland is just another old-school center-of-the-plate protein: seal meat.
Lunch just got a lot more interesting.
Living on a small island all her life, the widow of a cutterboat captain, Ayla knows what to do with all parts of the catch. And she is besties with the guys at the fish warehouse near the docks.
When a fish like this comes in, it's a big deal.
The prime cuts of salmon bring a hefty price at market. But the guys are happy to give Ayla the cheap leftovers, like the head and bones, rather than throw them out. Which is not to say there isn't some competition for those parts.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we better protect the lunch.
We'll be cooking in a 200-year-old house, just like the one she grew up in right next door. It's a designated historical site. Soup is the first order of business. I'm on potato duty. Finland has some of the most delicious spuds I've ever tasted.
I think she's telling me use old potatoes, starchier.
They have their own dialect here on Hailuoto. The city folks can barely understand them. And her cooking techniques have been passed down through generations of Finnish mothers. Ayla taught her own 2 daughters and worked in restaurant kitchens off and on until she retired.
There's the right amount of fin, there's the right amount of belly.
But soup's not all we're eating. There's also the seal. The Finns rarely hunt seal anymore, but sometimes seals get tangled in the fishing nets and have to be shot. Ayla remembers when eating seal was common here. She's got 2 different preparations.
It's old school, basically cooked to death and plopped in the oven. And new age, just pan-fried in a little bit of butter. I'm very, very excited.
Her fisherman ancestors used to boil seal at sea or on the shoreline. So she carries on their tradition of eating it with the fingers and nothing else.
Do we eat this with the lingonberries? No? Nothing? No naturel? You know, sometimes with certain foods you can taste the history of a culture in one bite. It was pretty darn good that way. It tastes like beef that's been mixed with clams and seafood and then cooked forever.
But not cooked enough to soften this surprise.
Se on luoji. Pyssystä ampuma. Pum pum.
Oh, it's a harpoon.
Se on ammuttu hyvää.
You just have to be very, very careful when you're eating your seal.
I bite more gingerly into the butter-fried seal fillet. These seals feed on wild ocean salmon, which makes them taste even better.
As you push the flavor through your nose and as you begin to chew it, sense that this animal fed on something in salt water.
I think this is better than T-bone steak.
I think you might be right.
And everyone knows seal steak calls for a sour milk chaser. Then her homemade brown bread, slathered with butter and herring. Curing herring is a time-consuming 2-stage process.
I didn't realize that she salted and pressed it.
Yeah.
Finally, the salmon soup.
Old school, baby. Nothing complex going on here, just really nice fish broth, beautiful poached salmon, potatoes, onions, salt and pepper.
Ayla likes the cheeks,
Sieltä se kurkistaa, joka on...
but offers me the eyeball. You gotta peel away the cornea and socket sheathing.
If you like bone marrow and you haven't eaten the eyes on larger fish, you're really missing out because it will be exactly what you love about bone marrow. Gelatinous, the intense flavor of the animal itself.
Ayla's glad to share her traditions and her little island.
Tässä on tämmöinen pieni saarikin, niin täällä omavaraistaloudessa näin tullaan toimeen.
You can live in the middle of the sea and you survive.
Absolutely.
But she's just as happy to shoo us back to what she calls the big world.
We did come from the big world.
Ei mitään, saa olla yksin.
Ayla doesn't suspect that the big world is actually looking to little Finland as a culinary beacon for food that starts here in the fields.
I have nicknames for them also.
Right.
So he's my darling.
And Finns who use a sauna for roasting fish, cheese, and meat. The far northern reaches of Finland are home to two key demographics: friendly, unassuming, hospitable Finns and reindeer. Hundreds of thousands of reindeer. For nearly 4,000 years, the indigenous Sami people herded reindeer in the Lapland region, relying on them for meat, transportation, shelter, clothing, and this, fresh milk. And if I want to eat today, I'm going to have to do my best reindeer milkmaid impression.
No pressure, but you and I are on television.
My host is Satu Palasari. She owns this reindeer farm with her husband, Michael, and their 4 children. There's a larger herd of thousands of reindeer here on the farm. But these are the guys the Palasaris consider part of the family.
This one is called lumipallo. That means snowball.
Snowball?
Yeah. He's my special reindeer. When we go driving with the sled, he follows my orders, so I can go anywhere with him.
Satu and her husband, Michael, took over the farm from her father, Reino, back in 2009. And everything she knows, she learned from him.
Okay, Andrew, it's your turn.
Including this little tidbit. Nothing helps a reindeer relax during milking like a little singing.
All this is lots of fun, but it goes very slowly. You have to have some patience, and I don't have any.
Milking reindeer is slow going, but the yield is one of the Palasaris' best moneymakers.
How much does a liter go for on the market?
About 120 euros.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
That's about 150, 160 bucks. A liter.
Reindeer milk is extremely low in lactose and contains 6 times as much fat as cow's milk.
I've never had fresh reindeer milk before. That's very grassy, very sweet, very fatty. It's delicious.
It sticks in your mouth.
It does stick in your mouth. That's a very interesting texture.
The family also does a brisk business butchering and selling reindeer meat for local suppliers and recently, more high-end restaurants. Reindeer meat is lean with a lot of iron and protein. Today, the Palasaris are cooking up a feast of reindeer parts for the whole family. Liver, top round, and first up, the freshly peeled reindeer tongue.
The tongue is so delicious. They tasted what they've been eating. So they're eating the berries and the lichen and the shoots off young trees and plants.
I've been looking forward to the grilled reindeer liver and onions.
This is just delicate and light and minerally and nickely.
Everything tastes better in a setting this beautiful.
The most insane tasting potatoes of all time.
The last cut, sautéed reindeer medallions, sliced from the leg.
Oh, wow. That is a treat. That's spectacular.